I'm with Awad Ibayat and Izad from the Palestinian General Union of People with Disability. Now, Awad, what is the Union for People with Disability?
It's my pleasure to make this interview with you to introduce the General Union for Persons with Disability as very important institutions for advocacy for changing the life for persons with disability. The General Union for Persons with Disability is an organization working in the advocacy and raise awareness for persons with disabilities, trying to make a pressure on the governmental institutions and private sectors to include the disability issues according to the right best in their agenda. And we work also with the population in general to change their attitudes to be aware for a disability depending on the right approach or right model.
And when were you started as an organization?
We started as an initiative in the beginning of the 1990. There were a group of persons who have different disabilities and who some of them were injured by the Israeli soldiers, the first prize. So they start thinking how to make a body maybe or an umbrella for the persons with disabilities to ask or to make a pressure to advocate for their rights. So in the result, ultimately they find this idea to have an organization following the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, and representing all the persons with disabilities. We started formally in 1993. In that time, there wasn't a Palestinian Authority here with the West Bank, but we registered in the Internal Ministry in 2004.
And how many members do you have?
Here, it's very important to notify for something. The General Union represents all the persons with disability, either who are in Palestine or outside of Palestine. So we represent the persons with disability who live in Lebanon camps or Syria, etc. The persons who are registered in the union are about 45,000 persons with different disabilities.
Are you based all over the Palestinian area?
Yes, we are based all the areas. We have branches in each district. 11 branches are in the West Bank and 5 branches are in the Gaza Strip, and three branches in Lebanon, in Lebanese camps.
And what projects do you do?
The projects that we are doing related to the objectives that we that we satisfied. Some of them related to raise awareness for persons with disabilities for their rights, to make the population more aware for this issue as a developmental and right issue. Some of the projects are based on how to empower the persons with disabilities, to capacity building for them in some field, how to advocate for themselves, for their rights, and how to lead the change, how to lead the institutions. Some of projects focuses on making networking with the institutions, with the DBOs that working in Palestine. For example, we are here in the Bethlehem branch in this year working with 2 projects. One funded from the EU and the other is funded from the Internal Italy Ministry. Both of them working how to empower the women with disabilities and the DBOs to implement some activities related to raise awareness and to integrate or to mainstream this issue in the women institutions. And in other side, we are working in these two projects to make a networking between the institutions and to build a shareable strategy for the all, to specify the priorities for them, how to work together, and what we have to do and what we could target, either the governmental sector or the private sector.
Now, you have a project that you have in the Central Office for Palestine in coordination with another institute. Tell us a little bit about that.
Its title is Palestinians with Disabilities Leading the Change. Yes, this project is implemented by the GUPWD, General Union of Persons with Disabilities, in coordination with the Creativity of Teacher Center. It had been started from 2012 and it will until this year. It has two parallel objectives. One of them targeting the GUPWD, including the branches, how to empower these branches for the union, to make them strong, how to advocate for this issue, and to have to build the capacity for some people, young people, to prepare them for activities later. In addition, it's working to make advocacy plan for the union. There are some achievements related to this project. One of these is empowering a group of young people, as I said before, special training such as TOT. And another achievement is a strategic plan for the union and working to put policies for 5 ministries: Ministry of Education, Ministry of Social Affairs, Ministry of Health, and Labor, Ministry of Labor, and Ministry of Local Government. And the advocacy plan to make a pressure on the government to implement the laws. So another object is to make awareness for the population, especially targeting the schools. How to learn by work. They trained samples or groups of students who are in the primary schools to deal with disability issue, and they in the end get able to make some projects related to the disability issue.
So how are disabled people treated in the area?
There is still a stigma, a stereotype. Many people are treated as a parasite, as poor persons, as disabled, couldn't do anything. This stereotype, this image is still here, and we feel that the society in general have this image. So it affects negatively on many fields of our life. So one of these effects that we feel that we are excluded from the jobs, excluded from the services, excluded from the mainstreaming in the institutional activities, excluded of our basic rights to have a family, to get married, to move free and safe in the street, because the environment and the concepts are still not good enough to make us feel that we are socialized here. And there is a change on the other aspect. Yeah. Now, after all these efforts, after all these works that the institutions did in this field, I could say that a change happened. But I couldn't speak about a big change. Yeah. But yeah, it's a real that there is a change.
Slow progress.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it easy for a disabled person to find a job?
No. And this is related to the previous question. It's not easy. But the progress which happened here is on the governmental policies. Maybe it's easier for the persons with disability to have a job in the governmental sector than in the private sector. And last week we were doing a workshop with the private sector to try to change their attitudes to raise their awareness about the disability, to satisfy them that the disability is a type of variety in each society. It's not a stigma, it's not a disability. So don't have a lot of fears to employ the persons with disability in your institutions. And we make and offer some experiences for persons, for employers. I have a good experience in employing persons with disabilities. So to sum up for this question, yes, this is maybe the biggest challenge that the persons with disability face, because I could be involved in the school and get my education and graduated from the university. But when I want to go ahead to start thinking of my future, in the first step in this thinking, how to find a work, to find job, unfortunately we get astonished, we shocked, because we feel that there is a big gap between what we were thinking and the reality, between our dreams, ambitions, and how the others deal. So this maybe needs a lot of work to change.
Do disabled people themselves feel empowered?
Some of them, yes. But if you want to take a look on the statistics, in Palestine there is more than 300,000 of persons with disabilities and different disabilities. So some of them are still, not some, a lot of them are still isolated, separated from the others. They are just in, maybe I know more than one, keeping at home for long years, not for days, for long years. If you want to also look at the statistics to evaluate the situation, we can say more than 53 of persons with disability couldn't be joining with schools. And maybe the unemployed persons with disability is more than 87 of persons with disabilities who are able to work. 34 of persons with disabilities under age of 18 dropped of schools because there is no assistive equipment for them. So if you just depend on these statistics, you will find that the majority of people are not empowered. But this doesn't mean that the others are not also. Many of them are educated, empowered, could advocate for themselves and for the others. And some of them have a very special positions in the society. Some of them working at the universities, some of them working in the first maybe lines of jobs. But they are not a lot, and they are this group of persons, the empowered. They are not a lot, and they are not also little. But the majority, as I said, are not empowered.
Yeah. And last question, what's your prayer for disabled people here in the community?
The most important thing is not to feel that there is a discrimination against them. To be equal with others, to have opportunities, to live in dignity, to implement the laws that are related to their rights. If I want to say according to what really I wish, I hope that we reach to the time that there is no institutions working in disability issues, because in that time I hope that the disability issues is dealt and treated as others issues. It's very harmful and painful for the persons with disability to know and to hear that you are different negatively from others. So there is a special organizations dealing with your issues. So this is really my hope that we could achieve.
Well, Awad and Rebed, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you a lot for this interview. Thank you a lot.